It's time for all of us to admit the truth. Matt Riddle has always been the problem. From his end in WWE being a disaster of epic proportions, to his latest controversy ending with him having to return money and lambasting a charity event of all things online. Needless to say, Matt Riddle doesn't seem like the type of guy that any of us would want to hang out with. His entire history is riddled with various controversies, some lesser than others, like the weed stuff that no one really cares about now, to more serious allegations of assault and abuse that have permeated and really affected his career over the last decade. And the truth of the matter is, we're sick of it. I think everyone is sick of Matt Riddle opening his mouth, him talking about how the society is out to get him and that Me Too and all this stuff is out to get him, when in reality, Riddle needs to look directly in the mirror at the problem itself, and that is himself. He is his own worst enemy, and in many ways, he's a distraction amongst a wrestling scene in general that I don't think needs him. Matt Riddle, when he first came onto the scene on the indies following his MMA career, felt like he was going to be one of those transitional stars. He felt like he was going to be a Kurt Angle type to come into this world, pick everything up, and run with it once he got there. And he did. And I'm not here to say Matt Riddle is not a good talent. I'm not here to say Matt Riddle isn't a great wrestler. He is, yes, sure. But that's not everything when it comes to being a part of this. That is not everything when it comes to being a wrestler. It also matters the way you carry yourself. It also matters the way you interact with fans. It also matters whether or not you go after charity events online, whether or not you go after alleged victims of assault. It matters when you put yourself in places to fail, in spots to fail, in situations where a company like WWE is forced to say no to all of the potential money that they could be and were making with you, and instead decide to fire your ass. That is the issue with Matt Riddle. He has always been the issue. He has been the force behind everything bad that has happened in his career. And this is not a case of me trying to say that Matt Riddle shouldn't get help for certain issues he may have. This is not me trying to say that those things didn't contribute to the factors and everything that went on. But when you have someone who is pointing the finger at everybody else, who's pointing the finger at every single person constantly, and is constantly spewing his mouth to the degree that Matt Riddle is constantly talking about how wokeness, how Me Too, how these indie promoters, these charity events, these companies, these other wrestlers, everyone is out to get him. At a certain point, you have to look at that situation and say, maybe the problem isn't everyone else. Maybe the problem is the dude with the big ego who thought he was better than everyone else, but got a little humbled when he wasn't winning Royal Rumbles, when he wasn't winning World Championships, when he wasn't the biggest star on the show when he got to WWE. And maybe it's that same ego that makes it that he can't handle the idea that a company like AEW might not want anything to do with him. And my point of all of this is not to say Riddle needs to go away, although I personally wouldn't mind that, but it is to say that I think it's time for Matt Riddle to get a dose of reality. You have always been the worst enemy of yourself. And until you change the way you carry yourself, none of that is going to change. Fans at the end of the day weren't here to watch him go out there and do these shoot promos. We're there to watch him wrestle. We're there to watch the good vibes that he was able to bring on our TV screens for as long as he did. And when all that stopped, when it became overly serious, when it becomes an issue to the degree where you're calling out people who have nothing to do with the situation at hand, well, maybe, just maybe, the issue isn't those people. And for Matt Riddle, it's disappointing because he's someone that I think we all expected so much out of, and he never really lived up to any of those expectations. Dude was supposed to be a world champion. Think about that. Really think about the fact that he was supposed to be a world champion. He was supposed to be the next guy up, and he genuinely could have been. Yet we're all sitting here a couple of years later just wondering, how the hell did we get to a point where Matt Riddle isn't even a prominent figure on mainstream indies like GCW, TNA, or wherever? How did we get to a point where Matt Riddle is a dude, like, sure, he's getting work, he's doing his thing, whatever, but he's not really in the limelight when it comes to top indie acts? Like, it feels like he is just gone from the scene entirely. And the more that you're gone, the more that I think fans, especially wrestling fans, just kind of look at these situations like, well, wrestling was doing fine without you. I, as a fan, was doing fine without you. I, as a fan, was watching Raw, watching Dynamite, watching whatever I was, and life moved on. And at the end of the day, that's going to happen here. Regardless of what Matt Riddle says, regardless of who he blames for his own issues, regardless of what he blames and how he blames them, pro wrestling is bigger than him. Pro wrestling will move on without him, and it is. And there is so much wrestling out there for everyone to watch. There's so much out there for everyone to see. There's so much good going on in the world of pro wrestling, from WWE to AEW to TNA to every other company, that I don't think fans are that concerned with what the hell is going on with Matt Riddle. I think if Matt wants to fix that, the first thing he needs to do is take accountability. Not just for blaming everyone else, but for potential actions he may have taken, for the way that he carries himself, for all of that. That's the only thing he can do at this point. Yet I wouldn't hold my breath. And I think Riddle and that story is something that all wrestling fans are probably happy to move on from.